Hoa Lan laughed. Then we'll go back and wait. Haha. Don't know. 3 geniuses from the world of the little spirit. What level will there be? Must know that the devil is the food. It's extremely rare. You are also students. From the world of the little Lin Lung. Probably not too bad. Angry idiom thinking it's not over. There's a lot of noise around. It's silly to ask this. Celestial Root 3 products. The people around me were amazed. The young man said in surprise, I'm just following the prince here. It was a great honor and sent to the West. 6 people also shouted to ask the CA. How is the Northwest Institute arranged? Let me explain it to you. Inside the temple. The North is the worst. 6 months ago, I didn't want to go to the North. Laughter motto, haha. But the hospital is not the place. Where you want to go. According to theory. From spiritual root 5 products or less. The Lord will not accept. But there are some disciples who have parents in them. The gods can't kick them out. That's why I took her to the hospital. Southern Hospital is a little better. From spiritual root 5 products or more, up to 9 products will go to the Southern Hospital. The West is the best place. In front of you can enter. The geocentric or celestial talents. Everything will be there, so will we. 6 surprising adventures asked to 7-tiered spirit can only go to the West. SAO catchphrase explanation. If you practice very well in the West. If you show that you have potential, you will be sent to the hospital. 6 to understand that's how it turns out. The Central Committee. SAO catchphrase answer. Central actually, we don't know what's there. It's an extremely secretive place. Everything about the Central Committee is confidential. It doesn't even allow outsiders to hear about it. Only the best geniuses from the East qualified to go there. The photographer thought the center is the most powerful body of Wu than Tien. But in a previous life, I know a little about the center. I don't know if I have a chance to find out this time. Everyone is buzzing around the house right now. He laughed and kept the 2 men waiting. It was the turn of the 2 men's men. The flower bends the man. Just listen to the advice of the stubborn. We'll just stand by and watch. Make the persistence of joy smile. Then point to the guy in the purple shirt. Go up and check. That stupid guy, yeah. Then go up and check. The instructor said, put your hand on the glass sphere. Slowly bring the energy inside. The guy gulped a little. Put your hand on the ball. A source of gold out of Ra. It's very good to insist on local praise. Take to the West. He patted me on the shoulder and said, good job. Then a bald guy checks out. Is the local spirit of the Western Academy. And so the next thing is the local spirit of the 7 products of the Western Academy. That's what makes the crowd start to wonder. A white-headed man lamented. The world's small natural resources so harmful SAO. How many people have you checked? 9-10 are spiritual. The earth has 3 people. Then Alba are geocentric. The other guy said yes, and there's another 7. This is your genius. Genius is so good and so cool. Then ask the next person to point the finger. You go check. Makes the dancer jump in a hurry to say yes. Then go up and touch the ball with your hand. Motto, and everyone's looking forward to Theo. Now a red power is unleashed. The manager realized that there were 9. Persevere notification. Spiritual root 9 products in DTO. It's considered a genius at all. Take it to the south. The manager asked stupidly why. People say it's possible. There must be a problem. I went to check again. There can be no problem with holding back the objection. Each student can only test once. Pay attention to your attitude. The others also felt uncomfortable looking at him. So the dance manager had to leave the room. Speak up. The next person still manages Vu like a flying spirit. Wonder, your talent is just so ordinary. The photographer said, don't worry too much about it. Although the spiritual root has something to do with spiritual practice, but it's not a qualitative factor. Decided to reach the limit. Next of practice. You can hold the practice in your hands. When I finished listening, I turned my head and laughed. That's right. This is where God can seven. It doesn't always stop at the topography or the SAO. Haha. I asked her, what do you mean? He made a fake face and said, Uncle. I'm really sorry, I only talk for a while. We shouldn't talk about ghosts. Not in front of the prince. After listening to the photographer, just smirked lightly, haha. See this convex attitude. Make a fool of people who look at the photographer that. My voice says, spirit is not the determining factor. But it doesn't say that spiritual energy is useless. Ask if you are a student. You dare to stand here and teach me. Regent Bao Hoa, Mausoleum. You've never met someone with a psychic. But stay in the place forever. You just have to have a soul. Maybe we can go to heaven. If you ask that, why do you practice 10 or 25? To come to heaven. Haha, so the speed of cultivation. Not even a spiritual person. The soul level of the divine root is extremely high. So why are there still people in the landscape for so long? Or is it because he is lazy to practice? Hearing this infuriates the mind. Photographer laughed softly because the divine root will automatically absorb the flowers of heaven and earth. Does the prince know the mysterious death? He said yes. The photographer continued, it's an extremely rare human treasure. Its roots are planted deep into the ground. It also absorbs the earth and the sky. There's the fantastic purple trees. It's been underground for hundreds of years. So it's time for it to start growing. It's been an inch in just a few days. There are trees that have fed themselves for thousands of years. When you get off the ground, the growth rate is going to be really fast. In just one day, it was over 1 million. The future will grow at this rate. Your face makes sense too. But from high-end to the practitioner, it's not the same thing. The photographer climbed up in surprise and clasped his hands. Congratulations then, sir. They're about to break through the heavens. More. After the breakthrough, the VI will increase even faster. Absolutely not. Some people can be compared. It's a cold dream, and the dream is right. You're not even qualified to meet the fake martial arts. The photographer replied casually, no one can say anything in advance. Let's just wait and see now. Quizzes little photographer. Is that news real or fake? But the photographer made it up. That's a 7 hope. Take a breath, say yes, and then turn your back. The photographer thought, only we can see out. The soul of words. I've trained to a certain extent. Even if we can't be sure of the time. But we're also about to reach heaven. It is also like a false claim. He practices 10,000 oolong resolves. That method is extremely powerful, no less than my angel. Think longer without breaking through. Maybe their law isn't perfect. Not after the breakthrough. It's definitely a flat road. The next door must be an asteroid. Over here, the sound of the announcement again emits the spiritual root 8 products. That sounds like a surprise. Go to ask is the root cause SAO. The young man is now stunned. It makes me angry and angry. Subnatural world. There is a kind of trash like you. Get out of here. We don't need a human spirit. The young man with a red face looked at me. The prince's mausoleum. Although the spiritual root of the 8, it cannot be compared to other students of the microcosm world. But it's not too bad to be angry. Family, it's hard to say. The team we chose, representing the world of the microcosm. How can we accept? It's kind of trash like a spiritual root. Turn around and tell you to go home. Or let me fire you. If you don't have a talent, don't go and practice. See this. Make the bartender frantically clench his hand. I saw the photographer next to me. Don't care what he says. Who practices? We've got to do the opposite. If you don't want to, give up the practice of being a human being. The dancer lowered her head and breathed out a calm breath. And thank you, photographer. I used to talk badly, but you still keep cheering me on even so. Anyway, the dancer won't give up. You're laughing and laughing, haha. Matter by species only. A true fake doesn't need to be cheered on by others. She watched the young man being chased away. I asked you to say a few words. I can't help but laugh. Let's not waste any more time. The next person up. I told you to come check it out. That person is 6. It made him sweat and worry. The crowd was suddenly noisy. Stop screaming. Someone committed suicide. Is an 8-product spiritual practitioner. The 6-year-old also looked at me. The photographer is also upset. Others say, I heard that he tested Ra's spiritual root 8 products. That's why I don't think. Another man told me not to talk too much. Think about how to save people. But the flower here is calm. I would rather kill myself. I don't want to be deported. Looks like there's a bit of air. It's just a waste. There's no shame. Hearing this shameless thing is irritating to the mind. Others are also upset, yelling obnoxiously. It's deadly. The story of the microcosm world. They should not manage it. Except to speak up. You should still check the next student. 6 people are so nervous right now that they are shaking. You see, he laughed disdainfully. Timid, timid, timid. As soon as I saw it, I knew there was no talent. 6, look here. Look over here. I wonder why everyone is looking at me. I thought there was nothing more this time. 1,000 times don't be sent back. He told himself not to be deported. Don't be deported. He's sending out power into the sphere. Make 6 surprising adventures think, is pink SAO. Underneath everyone O in wonder. 6 adventures only, then the soul SAO. I dare not look anymore. Please do not lower than 5, please. Then the pink light burst forth. Make the deacons startle themselves. The people below covered their eyes and let out a loud cry. I can't help but wonder at this moment without words. Silly people say this is red to purple. It's the color of the sky. The light on the globe began to diverge. Since the beginning of the test. This is the 4th, and it's 5 times better than the previous ones. The phrase below is also admirable. The flower is as stupid as a tree. Turn to look at the motto, okay, thinking what a joke. One phrase is enough trouble, and there's one more. The whole world has some spiritual roots. The world already has two. They're definitely cheating. 6 at this moment peek a little. See how to count a tuba. When you open your eyes, you are foolish enough to say that there are 5 stars. He turned to the deacon and expelled me. Wrong, he was looking at him silently. He looked down and asked why he wasn't talking. Check finished or not. So look at everyone's puzzled faces. I wonder why people look at me like that. To try to calm down. Then coughed softly, proclaiming, 5 articles brought to the West. That makes 6 of you stupid. Is the spiritual root SAO? It hasn't been shaped yet. Ask yourself who you are talking about. Immediately look around. Then I laughed stupidly. I just laughed right away. It turns out I'm a genius. I was glad to go down and say I was too humble. It costs, really. Go to the photographer. It turns out that I am a 5-fold god. Without saying, let me hurt you. I was threatened to die. Serious photographer. We don't have glass spirits. How to know? 6 remember it right and laugh. There's flowers here. Crazy blood trembling who grinds his teeth. The safe is screaming to keep checking. To persist in laughter, ha ha ha. Aesthetics are starting to be, so ha ha. But there's nothing to hurry. The sky is not that much. He waved his hand to continue the test. Very quickly after that, the test of the genius of the world. Sub-Tian Yuan, it ended up being mostly geocentric. There's only one God-given person. Surprise 6 big laugh adventure, haha. It makes fun of people and that's all. You can hold your breath. Don't waste the next person's time. It's your turn. Go check it out. 6 looked at the photographer and said it was your turn. Don't worry, Harry. We'll meet again in the West. He sighed, thinking his previous life had been checked. Is the local route 7 products? This is what was intended. There's no sense of expectation right now. Next to the question, what will the photographer be? Slowly moving forward. Take your hand to the ball. Just touched the sphere that emits red light. And then it turns purple. The photographer is full of questions. I can see that the sphere looks unstable. Then he dropped his hand in wonder. He turned his head and looked at everyone. Everyone was silent and stared at him. She looked at the ball in front of her and was stunned. Say no words. I can't believe the sphere is broken. That's a really good word for sweating. The photographer is divine. If you can't finish the sentence, try to speak up. It is said that the 8-fold. Take to the West. The stunned crowd screamed for another heavenly can. There are 8 products. Except the Central Committee, the whole temple is no more than 5 years old. The 6 adventurers also admire. The devil is stronger than me. To persist in thinking laughter. Little Lin Lung World. It's the only place outsiders can't go. It's a mystical place. Looking at his photographer's unsightly face. Why does he seem to be unhappy? Maybe the 8-year-old is not enough. But the photographer was bewildered, thinking too high. In my previous life, I was clearly a 7-year-old. Time does not change. Your talent has also changed. I don't know what's changed in this life. Climbing ropes rise from the sea of souls. It's also because it's cool. Not really. No matter what the gift. I will also become the strongest lover. When she came down with a sullen look on her face. The crowd looked at Theo and admired. The real bad guys can go to the hospital later. 6. He also praised you for being strong. I know your talent is not ordinary. The language has opened its mouth. It seems that the crowd is not much use. Prince Hoa Lang. The flower is snug and cold. Who knows what the hell you've done? How can you find so many spirits? I hope not to be like you. It's just powder. He turned his ass and told his men to leave. The slogan sighed to say, that flower is narrow-minded. In the future, be careful not to let him. Calculation. You can't fight each other in the temple. But I don't know outside. The photographer replied, of course, I understand. There can be no defense. Then the words say, let's go. Try to stand behind. Look at them and sigh for an hour. Think of an 8-year-old. A celestial root 5 products. I was crazy and suddenly came to help. 2 geniuses in the future is not good. We have to figure out how to make up for it with them. Go outside the gate. The motto says the dance manager. In front of you is the south. We can only bring you here. After going into the report, your 2 guides will arrange a place for you. You can go to the southern monastery to practice. The dancer nodded in agreement and turned her back straight. At this point, the motto turned to look at the photographer with 6 adventures. I said we're going to the west now. On the way back, the academy has 2 rooms. One is the Celestial Academy dormitory. Arrange AI is also available. There is also a place to stay that needs to be paid. 6 surprising adventurers ask, so we are. I've rented a special hospital. You can stay in my place temporarily. 6 happy adventurers say so well. There's still a bit of tension. People of the same age, most of them are still in the Holy LAN Academy. We suddenly go to another world to practice. I laughed and said you were a genius. Of course, the steps are longer than others. Go with nature. Suddenly, the photographer is dumbfounded. Keep your eyes to the side. 6 questions about what to look at. I asked too many people there. What are they doing? The phrase suddenly realized that's where the students of the Celestial Institute are. Trade with each other. The Temple of Heaven. Frequently given types of tasks. Students complete the task. You will receive the Spirit Stone. This Spirit Stone is a cultivation resource. It's very important. In addition to the students, they also trade in spirit and spirit. In this world, love is based on maturity. Normal Asian elite track extraordinary God level. But even the elite level is rare. If you want to go to heaven, it's impossible. 6 adventurers here amazingly ask the photographer, God is so precious. It's hard to get in the long term. The photographer explained, it's not just maturity. The blood of the soul is also important. Like the Min Tiger and Dutrache's beloved spirit. Same maturity, but they can't be compared to each other. 6 asked again, what's good and bad blood vessels? The photographer held up 3 fingers. Lin love blood divided into 3 types only. 1 is the normal love vein. 1 is the cerebrovascular, like a unicorn that's extremely rare. And the 3rd type is the angioplasty. Basically, can't be met. 6 remember, that's what Ra is. Tiger is just a normal blood vessel. I don't blame you for changing it. My leopard's blood chain. It's also a normal blood vessel. Idiom says, love is not easy to find. Basic trading practitioners. They're all love spirits, normal level animals. 6 stupid questions. God Academy is also normal. Or so, the gas is great. Title explains, air is no different. Compared to weapons in the world of little Lin Lung, there's something inside the aura that harbors celestial power. It's much stronger than normal weapons. Gas protection from poor to good is divided from the most to 9 products above. It also has super gas and gas to kill God. But on the market, you can make up to 3. It's already terrible. Basically, only the most commodities can be traded. Only 6 days to ask. So I don't know if there's any hidden energy in the sky. How bad will it be? The photographer suggested, let's go over there and have a look. 6 adventurers agree. I saw 2 people running away in a hurry. Make the surprised words sigh. Just follow them. On this side, the crowd is greeting each other. 2 spiritual stones in exchange for elite spirit. 2 main air exchange products of spiritual stones. Is there an exchange? People are inviting us to talk to each other. 6 adventurers ask, this stone is so precious. SAO in Kwangwi City. Even buying a soul costs $10,000. Hundreds of thousands of love in DTO. Title explains, spirit stones are extremely helpful for cultivation. VI is growing. The more spiritual stones we need. In Long Ku, the world is extremely fragile. It's not enough to sustain us. But on the spirit stone, again contains the celestial pure Kai force. 6 surprising adventures, and then came out the vase saying that, how many spirit stones can these herbs exchange? Smile and say, these drugs are here. It basically doesn't work. 6 bored adventurers said soon to know. Brought a little love spirit. What to say? Normal love has no effect. This place is the dragon boat. Even though love spirit ancient blood vessels are rare, but often the students don't notice. The majority of students love to carry the spirit of the dragon blood. Listen to these 6 strange faces. Let's say more. Love spirit blood vessels love normal. It takes a God level up to attract others. Magical maturity is not easy to find. 6 after listening to the first step of the year. We've been preparing for so long. I want to lose 7. The photographer asked when to prepare later. Aesthetic on people, except heaven, still, God of swords. 6 Zhazu are all impossible things. There is nothing for others. The dream-worthy lake cannot be taken out soon. It's a little difficult to find a spirit stone. The photographer wondered, cultivation needs spiritual stones, so new students like us. How to get spirit stones to go on duty. Title explains, students of divinity. 5 stones are given each month. 6 people asked for only 5. Laughter motto, haha. That's a lot. Local students are only given 1 tablet. The soul must rely on itself. This place is very busy. These exchanges take place. The photographer looks at the objects on display. It's a lot of rare things. White hands can only watch. I will come to the temple to see it when I have time. Is there a way to get a spirit stone? In this Long Can area, only the spirit can produce spirit stones. Vung godly tissue. 1 year, they can only produce tens of thousands of stones. The number of lead gods is decreasing. The great apostles, all because of the fight for the lead god that will happen fighting. It's like a dance god. You have to control a large number of gods. Nu can supply enough spirit stones. After a round of sightseeing, they quickly returned to the Western Academy of the Celestial Academy. When people walk down the street, they look at them and talk to each other. You know those 2 people who come from the underworld. One is the 5-fold, one is the 8-fold. Western Institute, we've got more genius at the divine level. But the motto is also the spirit can 7 products. But so far, it hasn't gone any further. These 2 also came from him. I don't know how. They said they left quickly. The phrase now leads us all to the front of a hospital. To the place where the words tell, they're all geniuses of the West. You'd better not poke. Especially you. Photographers can all be people with backgrounds. Disdainful photographer says outrageous. Don't see me as a child. I know how to consider myself. Idiom says, in short, first of all, you can practice safely here. Without me to lead. Don't just go out and act. The photographer gladly accepted. Then the words, this building is your home. I am not allowed to enter my room. Your face says you know. And then I know I'm going to take a tour. 6 adventurers also happily run. The scenery inside looks very poetic. The photographer stared at the beehive in the tree. All month long, the birds are singing. It is very comfortable and probably costs a lot of money. Suddenly, the motto called the photographer. I'm out on a trip to help you register. These 2 stones are for you. Before we go back, you should go and practice. The photographer took it and said, you're welcome. 6, thank you also. So I greeted the 2 of them leaving. The photographer happily said, rest assured, go leisurely. Then she went into the room. Put the stone down and start taking a deep breath. Close your eyes and concentrate to prepare to practice. The moment in the sleeve of the photographer moved slightly and swung out. She jumped out and took a deep breath. Sighs are killing me. You can't hide like that. Laughing, I'm sure. Fortunately, it doesn't draw attention to AI. Then take the chicken out and tell him to leave. He told me he was sleeping before. The smaller the sleep. Also good small. You can't see it with you. There are a lot of students here. It also carries all kinds of love. You may also be considered a lover. Dan said on the way here. We feel a tremendous amount of gas. Long across this area, it seems that AI is also a master. The photographer said more, even though the world is shaking us. Not through, it's just a small world of the Dragon Kingdom. Even the gods here are no more than mortals. Dance agreed to say yes. We also have to practice for good. When the meaning of this area, it's completely different than in the world of small talk. We didn't even know we could absorb it. To train it. She looked at the life forms of the goddess. Different from us. I don't have any magic to give her. I can only let her understand. Then I looked down at the stone. Tell yourself, we also have to take advantage of the time of God's grace. It cannot be defeated by the love of the owner. When we focus our spiritual practice, the spirit stone burst forth, and the gas glowed. Thanks there, the photographer's whole body immediately radiated a source of flaming gas. He thought first, stay here forever in the world of small spirits. It's finally possible to train the celestial Chi force now, and then transport the angel. Celestial energy training. It feels great, Cadall. Previously, to raise the VI, used a lot of shortcuts. Even if it's a great period, or love the spirit of magic, it's not pleasant. Compared to the skin, now both body and mind are comfortable. Each pore. I was drinking when the spirit stone suddenly died. To be a fool. I didn't think it just worked. The celestial power of this spirit stone, it's all consumed. After practicing divinity, the capacity of high soul becomes so large. A basic piece of spirit stone is not enough. You have to get more spirit stones. Otherwise, just stay where you are. Just enough spirit stones. And God's grace is his 8 gifts in this life. plus knowledge of cultivation from a previous life. We can quickly get to heaven. Suddenly, there was a noise. I was surprised when someone knocked on the door. Someone outside spoke up and asked the CA motto. CA, are you here? Suddenly, 6 adventurers poked their heads and asked, what's that sound? Photographer, not the lover of the word here. He glanced at her and told her not to gossip anymore. So he shouted back, there is no home. But the person outside suddenly realized that the door was not closed, so open the door and go in. Turns out she's a pretty girl. She asked the motto, CACA is not here SAO. He looked at the photographer and asked 6 questions. Who are you? Immediately to introduce Theo. We are friends of the motto. He just went out and looked for him. What happened? The girl replied, nothing happened. I heard the phrase CACA earlier. That's why I asked a question. I can't wait to see you again. Are you new students? 6 lemon adventurers laughed and said that's right. What's the name of a billion? Haha, the girl said I was the king. Is a friend of the idiom CACA. Speaking of which, her face turned red. The photographer just looked. See, this lady loves the motto. I said, wait here for your words. Or leave yet. When he finished, the red-faced emperor said, just leave me here for a while. Suddenly, someone came at the door. Surprised, the king returned to ask. He came back so fast. But the one who comes is not a motto. It's another name. He went in and said, you're here. Make the king of own bored face. He also seriously said he heard the news. I knew I would come here. The king was disgusted and turned back. Related to you? Serious. When you hear that, you ask the child. Where is a good motto? Why do you like him so much? The cold shoulder says I like it. You can manage my love affairs. Do 6 adventures here and listen to it with a laugh. He glanced at the 2 of you. It's 2 geniuses from the world. Zhao Lin Long, a heavenly root 8 products. A divinity root 5 products, SAO. 2 photographers and 6 adventurers. Immediately after contempt twisted crave answer. Seriously, ask them again. The photographer landed at the house. People don't knock on the door and ask for names. This is Long's old rule. The world of SAO seriously glared at him. Don't think you can be in heaven. Hydro cone. Son, do you know who you're talking to? Even though you have the spirit. But don't think you can go to the temple. It's best to get to know this temple. Who has the right to speak? The stern maggots began to radiate their power straight to the made 6 adventurers and regents stand. It was cold and thought interesting. For a long time, we have not been able to compete with the hierarchy of fate. Right now, he ran to the front and asked seriously, what are you doing? I will not allow you to treat me that way. With friends of the motto, CACA strictly tunneling has to retract the pressure. And then glared at the photographer thinking, this guy is obviously just a guy. Based on something, without feeling the fear on him. But there's also a strategy. There's also this kind of trick. SAO seriously smiling disdain, haha. You only deserve to hide behind women. I don't measure up to you today. I recommend a question for 2 people. You shouldn't go by the motto. Follow this scrap, absolutely not. There's no good fruit to eat. If you come to the front of the young master, can think a little bit. To collect you. 6 adventurers here suggests to ask the photographer. This four-language boy SAO goes to make enemies everywhere. One name after another, find it.